like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my main man, my wingman, the guy who looks after me and watches my six, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother Paul?
Not much. Good morning, Mr. Drew. Hope you're doing all right today. Today is going to be a great day. Yesterday was a fantastic day, at least for us. And I hope the rest of the world had a good day, too.
So do I. We got a great show, and I got you should see the wingman I got for us this week. Oh, yeah. It's an incredible story. And for all you frequent flyers, and you know who you frequent flyers are, the guys and girls who listen to us every week. Frequent flyers, thank you so much. All our new listeners, thank you. Please, if you can, go to our website at wingmenshow.com. And if you would please write a little review for us on Apple Podcasts, that would really help, wouldn't it, Paul?
Yes, it would. Yes, any good comments would be appreciated. Word of mouth is good. Please pass this on to your friends and relatives and those who want to see something positive in life, not just be surrounded by negativity. We try to keep people upbeat, not downbeat.
That's true. And you know what? Matter of fact, I want to give a couple of shout outs. You know, our newsletter is here now, Dr. Paul, where you're writing some financial things. I'm giving some life things. We're giving the facts in life in this newsletter on wingmenshow.com. But I want to give a couple of shout outs. Somebody who wrote us, this guy, SS. What's up, SS? But he wrote us that our Ford stock is down. What's up with that? And I think, guess what? This is time to buy more stock. What do you think, Dr. Paul?
Yeah, it was yesterday closed a little over $12 and something cents. It's down it's down $2 or $3. Okay, fine. Everything is down. Everything is down. It's probably going to go lower. But the technology is still there. And if you believe in the company and what it produces, if you're a long-term person or a longer-term person, you might give it some thought. Some people do buy and hold, and you can argue that's a bad strategy now. But if it's something I think the electric vehicles they're going to be around whether you like them or not. I know Ford just partnered with a Japanese corporation. They're building a big battery factory 50 miles northeast of Memphis.
Oh, wow. Well, if you can't order a car, if they've stopped, you can't order the electric Mustangs anymore. And I think the F-150s, they've stopped. You can't order those anymore. That's how many people want them. So this stock will rise, but we're doing this for the long term. Right. You know, the old saying, buy low, sell high. Well, right now it's low. And you and I next week are going to buy another 100 shares for the show.
We'll try to do that.
And how about Mr. Politico? Oh, Mr. Polito. I'm sorry. Mr. Polito, 007. You know what he talked about? Remember, I was talking about that Michael Jackson juice when I had my colonoscopy and they put me out. Well, he's shortened it to MJ juice, which I really like. Okay. And he said he was trying to sing Billie Jean, and he only got to Billie Jean is not my, and that was it.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. I got to 53. I really did. I watch him put the white juice in, and I start counting and really concentrating on those numbers. If you think for a second that you're tired, the next thing you'll see is when you wake up.
Yeah, I remember when I had it. They told me to start counting backwards from 100. I remember 97. I remember 97.
That's that MJ juice, baby. And talking about MJ, Dr. Paul, Michael Jordan's jersey at an auction just sold for $10 million. And you know what fans stand for? It stands for fanatic. So some fanatical Michael Jordan fan spent $10 million on his jersey. What do you think about that?
I guess he had some extra money lying around. He wanted to get something. Now,
you and I also, we don't realize there are a lot of rich people in the world.
I would say so. Now, this wasn't from the jersey from the 98?
His first, I think it was the first game of the 97 series or something.
I think it's 98. I think it's 98.
98. And I do have to apologize to our frequent flyers, people who listen, because I was telling you the Giants suck, which historically for the past couple of years they did, the football Giants. But when I said that, I realized that they won. They were behind when I said that. and they came back and won. And Aaron Judd hit his 60th home run. He's about to break Roger Maris's home run record. And you know what? I am a fan. I don't know if I'm as fanatic. I said that when we had the pandemic, the sports thing I lost the real glitz in the sports. Well, guess what? When your teams win, it comes back.
True. But you're not such a fanatic that you're not gonna run somebody over in a car.
No. I'm this kind. I'm a fair weather fanatic. Now, when you win, I'm happy. Okay. When you lose, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm not going to let it upset me for the rest of the day like it used to when I was younger.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. But also, Roger Federer, who has won 5 Wimbledons in a row, 5 U.S. Opens in a row, has probably won more men's titles than anybody. I don't know. There's a couple of more that are right up there, but he's one of the greatest tennis players that ever lived, and he's retiring.
Yes.
But you notice he doesn't get much press. And you and I were talking about that this week. It looks like the good guys who don't get in trouble, they don't really get the press that they deserve. You get an Allen Iverson who says, practice? You want me to play in practice? And he's one of the most famous NBA players of all time. But you get guys like Roger Federer, Tim Duncan. How about that baseball player, Mike Trout? He's like the best baseball player in the world.
Right.
Gets no press.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really excite anybody. He's just a regular guy. And one of the people that I knew that happened to was Larry Holmes. When I was growing up with Ali, Larry Holmes was a sparring partner. And me as a kid, him and I used to hang out all the time at camp. And he is such a nice person. But when he became champion of the world, he followed Muhammad Ali, which you just can't. And he did not get the respect he thought that he should. And his mistake was he started talking a little bit. And some people just shouldn't talk. There are some people who can get away with it, and Ali's one of them. But other people, unless you're a wrestler like Macho Man and The Rock, which actually we'll talk about a little bit later, certain people just can't do it.
Right. You have to have some acting chops. you have to be a good actor. I think people like stand-up comedians have an advantage. People in the public eye all the time have an advantage because they're used to talking, they're used to performing, and you can change that performance to suit your audience.
That's true.
So I think they have an advantage.
Well, something the Wingman Show, something we do, Dr. Paul, we are going to give the nice guys don't finish last report.
Right.
Roger Federer is a good man, and I want to give him all the respect he deserves. But nice guys don't finish last. They actually finish first, just people don't read about it.
I agree. He did well. He actually played his last tournament. It was a doubles tournament, and I think he played with Rafa and Nadal. They actually lost.
I know, and Nadal is his number one nemesis his whole career. And you know what Nadal said about him that was so nice? He said, I'm standing on the court with the man who made my tennis what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They gave much respect to him.
That's interesting. It's interesting, when you talk about people retiring in their careers in the world of professional sports, an old person is somebody in their 30s typically. And a 40 years old or over is beyond senior citizen. When most folks
look at Tom Brady at 40 playing NFL football, unheard of.
You got to have people protecting him
because of today's game and can't touch the quarterback. He's probably him and the kicker are the only positions you could get away with it now.
Right.
But he still is great. Whatever you want to say. How about this, Dr. Paul? You're a published author. I'm a published author. What are the odds of getting your book published? We're going to do this little game called What Are the Odds? Okay. So what are the odds of getting your book published? Do you know that, Dr. Paul?
Don't know, but I'm going to take a guess. Let's say 1 in 275.
That's almost good, but it's 1 in 1,000.
Okay.
But we're not just going to give you the odds. I'm a published author. You're a published author. How do we make those odds better? Well, the first thing you could do about in writing, we heard that nonfiction sells 10 times better than fiction. That's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, you can self-publish your book. These are how to make these odds better. And I believe you did a self-publishing. I was published. My first book was You Gotta Believe.
Mhm.
And William Morrow, it's a big publisher, big ass publisher. They came to me. I got to admit, I did not try to publish a book. They came to me and we wrote a book. And the second time with Bundini, Don't Believe the Hype, we just finished publishing that book. Once again, they came to us and asked us to write a book. And so we got an author, we wrote my daddy's book, and that happened. Publishing a book is not easy, but the first thing to do in publishing a book is writing the book.
Right.
And the last thing I have to say about books is, guess what a real easy sell is? They say writing a cookbook.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's hard to see how people can write 10,000 ways to make blueberry muffins or whatever. And if you have a good cover, it'll sell.
It sure will.
How to lose weight.
I got another one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
What's the odds of being bitten by a shark attack? 1 out of what?
In Salt Lake City, Utah, it's going to be like really high unless you're in the tank. But generally speaking, let's just go 1 in 110,000.
1 out of 714,286. That's your odds of getting attacked by a shark. But if you want to make those odds even greater, the couple things you can do is don't wear jewelry when you're in the ocean. And I hate to say it, but Florida has the number one. You can combine all the shark attacks in America, and Florida beats them. So be careful in Florida is all I can say. But that's where most of the shark attacks happen.
Yeah. That's
I got a cute one for you.
It triggered something in my mind. Flying was, I remember I was going on survival training, and I had a set of dog tags, identification tags, if we're not in a position to identify ourselves, if we're deceased. And I had a pair of them. And I put one on the lace of my boot. Deep, it was like the second.
Yes.
Second one. I just had it in there. And the old pararescue guy, not a para, that's the Air Force, but a rescue swimmer looked, they said, you may want to move that. It looks like a fishing lure. You might attract something.
100%. Do you remember when we were training and we did that parachute and we parachuted into Pensacola and we had to put a garbage bag over our legs so our legs wouldn't look like little fishies for shark attacks?
Right.
Okay, that scared the shit out of me. We're in the water and I had to slip a garbage bag over my legs.
Yeah. Because you're near Florida.
We were in Florida. Yeah. We were in Pensacola. All right, I got a nice one for you. How about what are the odds of falling in love on a given day?
That's going to be
not as high as you think.
1
out of
94.
1 out of 562. And they're saying if you really want to fall in love, number one, you should hide your earbuds. Stop walking around listening to music and not talking to people. Look for similarities in people and not opportunities. In other words, there are no Denzel Washingtons and there are no Beyoncés out there. Find somebody that you really like and somebody you have something in common with instead of maybe looking for somebody that can do something for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is, which I can't deal with, it says swipe right, which I have no idea really what they're talking about. It's those dating apps. Thank God, Dr. Paul, you and I were not in that era. But right now they're saying that the way to fall in love is find somebody close to you in proximity of distance. In other words, love might be right around the corner. So I'm not big into swiping left or right. When I saw the dating app, honest to God, I looked like I was looking at hookers.
So swiping left, I guess, is a rejection. It must be. See, I don't know anything about this stuff, but I remember hearing some terrible crimes that were committed against women or something. And someone said, well, someone must have swiped left on him too much. So what were they talking about? Okay, I think it's coming.
Is that what it is?
Could be. That's a poor excuse, but I heard that one time.
All right. Well, you and I are airline pilots. You and I are Navy pilots. And the one thing that led us to was flying all over the world. And you and I have flown all over the world for the past, 40 years or something? Mm-hmm. And so what we've seen that a lot of people haven't seen is how people look at America. And I remember when I first started flying and I went to foreign countries, they really looked up to America big time. I mean, it was incredible. When I was flying for FedEx, I remember when I go to Italy, somebody would always, a taxi cab driver would look at me and go, Obama, Obama, Obama. But what I'm trying to say is that I think our popularity in the world has gone down a little bit. And it's a shame because I think America is starting to kind of show itself that we're the greatest country in the world, 100%. But guess what? That's not so great all the time. But with all our problems, Dr. Paul, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this, with all our problems and all the things that are happening bad in this country, millions and millions of people are still trying to get here. And those immigrants at the border, you know, if this country's so bad, there's a bunch of hundreds of thousands of people trying to come here because it's so much better than other places in the world. What do you think about that, Dr. Paul?
Yeah, European people at the border, they're escaping. I mean, you talk about the southern border, you know, look at where they're from. They're from all over the place. They're not just from South America, from Africa, parts of Europe, from the Ukraine. People from the Ukraine are trying to get in through Los Angeles, through what's the section of Mexico, Tijuana, I understand, which is kind of far afield. But you have people coming here trying to do better, trying to go for opportunity. People coming for freedom, but also coming to make money, quite frankly. Everybody wants some money. And one of the things that immigrants bring, not only a different energy, they haven't really heard all the negative stuff that people in this country get deluged with every day. So they come and they kind of see what's available. Like, oh, I can go to a library, I can go to school for free. A lot of places you don't. They have these things called school fees. I've heard this term a lot in the Caribbean, some of Africa, school fees. There's no free education, or maybe limited free education up to third or fourth grade. So the fact that you can go to school for nothing is reason enough for a lot of folks to come through. Just that small thing alone. There are a lot of things we take for granted.
To me, that's what America is. America is a place that with this thing that you and I have received that we're trying to push here called an education, you can be anything you want. You know, this is one of the few countries you can start at the bottom and go all the way to the top. There are so many countries in this world, you can start at the bottom and you work your ass off and you stay at the bottom.
That is true.
Because of your last name, because of your color, because of what you believe in, a myriad of things.
That's true.
There's a caste system in India. No matter what you do, you're going to stay in your little group. Tell them about it, Dr. Paul.
The caste, it's funny, the very first time I visited India, I went on a tour. The gentleman gave a very, very, very good tour. It's a college level tour. And I was asking him questions and he said, the caste system is gone. I said, okay. And as I was there, I said, no, I don't think so. Maybe it's something that some are not particularly proud of, but I mean, there is a caste system. It's a hard caste system. And people are punished tremendously if they violate it. There's a group called the Dalits, D-A-L-I-T. They tend to be a darker hue, darker skin population. Not always, but most of the time they are. And that's supposed to be the lowest of the low, or the untouchables, as I understand it. And I've read cases recently, and this will take us back to a little history here, where some of them have been burned alive for violating some social norms, such as drinking out of water that's for higher caste people.
Wow.
Or looking at somebody and being pushed into flames, male, female, even children. I'm talking in the last couple of years.
Well, look what happened in Iran just a little while ago. This woman was killed because her pants were too tight. They took her into custody, the morality police. They're rioting in Iran right now. This woman died in their custody because her pants were too tight. In Iran right now, they're rioting. So when people talk bad about America, they need to have a little bit more knowledge. A lot of people talk bad about America, never been out of their counties.
Right.
All they've seen is news stories. All they watch is television. All their information comes from somebody else.
Right.
The blessing that we had is we traveled, and our news comes from us. We've actually seen what we're talking about. And, Mark Twain said it. If you don't travel, you haven't turned the first page in the book of life.
Well, I remember specifically one time, a long time ago on the Phil Donahue show, you were in an intense discussion with our old friend, our good friend, known as Brother Prophet. And was going towards a commercial. And he was making these pronouncements. And you said, come on, you have never been outside of Brooklyn. And when you said that, he just burst out laughing. So there's probably truth to it. Our friend, Brother Prophet.
Well, wait a minute. I've been to Queens.
So, Brother Prophet, if you're out there, we still remember you.
We definitely. Oh, and Dr. Paul reminds me of it all the time.
Yes.
How about this one? We got a PSA coming up. This is a Wingman PSA. This is fact number 3 from the 11 facts in life. The circle theory. Everything you do comes back to you. In life, you get away with nothing. Make a negative a positive and learn from the past. Times of struggle are times of growth, proportionally. Everything you do comes back to you. You get away with nothing. This has been a Wingman PSA. And how true that is, Dr. Paul. I mean, I've had to get beat up a lot of times during my life about thinking that I got away with something. You steal $1 today, you're going to lose 10 tomorrow. It just is.
Yeah, you got a moral problem, and you got a practical problem because there are cameras everywhere. That shouldn't be the thing. I mean, they really are.
But I'm talking about the big camera, the cameras that people don't have to see.
The camera of life.
And the life camera. You're going to get back whatever you give in this life. And, also that's positive. That's positive. Right. When you do good, you get good. When you do bad, you get bad. Let's talk about the thing that we love, and that's trying to prolong this great life that you and I are having, and that's health. And I'd like you to tell me a little bit about something, because my son, Dr. Drew Brown IV, started telling me about apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, and I have now been starting to drink that, an ounce of each with water every day. Tell me the benefits, Dr. Paul, of apple cider vinegar and lemon juice.
That's pretty good. Lemon juice, they're both good. I think I had some just before this podcast. I forgot I ran out of lemons. Actually, I ran out of time. I didn't do the lemons. I didn't do the lemon this morning because you give me a hard time if I was late. But I did have a little apple cider vinegar. It can do a lot of good things. It's inexpensive, like I said, but it can be helpful in reducing, lowering your blood sugar, perhaps lowering your cholesterol. There are no guarantees on these things, but they'll always say has been shown to or might. They can't give a guarantee. But it's good for blood sugar control, maybe weight control. One thing you do now, you're talking about drinking it straight. That's not recommended because it's really acid.
Very.
It's acid. So you really need to dilute it with some water because it actually can affect the enamel on your teeth.
Yes.
So yes, I would recommend. I do it in not a giant glass, so in a cup, just a little cup. And the lemon juice is good for just purifying the blood. I do it in the morning. Not the apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar has probiotics in it.
It does.
And that's bacteria for your gut.
Yeah, that's good gut. That's good gut bacteria. And it's free. Like I said, a bottle runs about, the brag is about $6, and that'll last me months. I don't do it every day. It's not good for me every day, but 2-3 days a week, I think it's great. You can use it for a lot of things. You can use it for toenail fungus. You can use it as a deodorant, actually, if you want to. You can mix it with stuff. You can use it to get pesticides off vegetables. That and a little
apple cider vinegar, you can spray it on your ribs. My son taught me I spray that on my ribs every hour when I'm smoking them.
That's right. You can do it for that. It's like, if you look at these things, you like 28 uses or 101 uses for it. But I'm looking at mostly internal. You can use it on your skin if you get an abrasion. But I use it mostly internally. You can actually, if you want, now if you got diabetes, maybe you don't want to do this, but you can put a little honey with it. So I mixed the lemon this morning, but I put a little honey. It sweetens it up a little bit, and that's a good combination to take away some of the bitterness. That's just a recommendation.
Yeah, you told me about that, and everybody know I have diabetes, very controlled diabetes.
Yeah.
And when you said that, that sounded good. And back when I didn't know more, I would have done that. But I have learned that honey is not really good for diabetics.
Diabetics. Okay, so skip that. Skip that aspect. But apple cider vinegar, it's a good thing to do. You can an easy way to take it. Some say take it in the morning. I do mine in the morning. Some say do it before a meal. But you can another easy way to do it is use it as a salad dressing. Equal parts of apple cider vinegar and
lemon and olive oil.
And lemon and olive oil is great. That's how they serve a lot of salads in Europe, and they taste great. It's great. Yes. It's easy.
Well, you bring up something very important when we were talking about the honey. See, before I had knowledge, I would think honey, wow, that's healthy. And me as a diabetic, not knowing anything, I would start using honey where really I'd be hurting myself. Well, last week we talked about 5 things that you think are good for you as you get older, and 5 habits that are kind of good because you hear about it, but they can be shaky. And those habits are just walking for exercise. Remember, you need strength and you need flexibility. The other one is drinking water all day, which is good. But most people drink water when they're thirsty. And we have found out that as you get older, you need to drink water throughout the day, because when you're thirsty as you get older, that means you're already dehydrated.
That's true.
Another big one is health bars, like the honey thing. I'm walking around eating health bars all day. They're not good. Look at the ingredients. They're full of sugar and they are processed foods. And that's what's killing everybody.
Right.
A big one that I didn't talk about last week was walking around with supportive shoes. People think for their feet, they need supportive shoes. Diabetics always should wear shoes in the house or outside because you don't want to cut your feet. But we have realized that you need to walk around in bare feet sometimes because your toes need balance. Your toes need strengthening. They will become, what do you call it when you don't use them? Atrophy.
Atrophy, yeah.
That's what will happen to your toes if you don't use them. So make sure your floors are clean and walk around sometimes in bare feet. These are the things that I read. And what's the other one? Oh, sun. Stay out of the sun. Stay out of the sun. No, sun is very important. Yeah. But I guess one of the facts in life is moderation and common sense. And so,
yeah.
What do you think, Doc?
Get some sun. Everybody needs the vitamin D. A lot of folks suffer from like a vitamin D deficiency, which can lead to a lot of things from cancers to a range of internal issues. Yeah, get some sun. We all need that.
And it starts your circadian rhythm clock. I didn't realize that. That's how important it is. It tells your body to wake up.
That's true. And something else, you talk about health. I'm sitting now. We're sitting, and a lot of jobs involve a lot of sitting in front of computers or screens or airplanes or something. Get up every once in a while. Some people say, don't sit more than 30 minutes or so. And if you do get up, just bend over and touch your toes 2 or 3 times. But what I'll do sometimes, I'll just do like a squat. Just do slow. I do 25. Maybe I do 5. Do something. That's a big muscle group from your waist down to your legs. Just do a few. Get your blood moving. That helps your lymphatic system, which makes everything work. Instead of just sitting up straight and being stoic, you're more likely to have polyps and everything else. Keep your blood moving.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, just get moving a few times. So
that's what I got this week.
What?
I got a Wingman.
Good one?
A great one. And you and I used to watch wrestling all the time when The Rock was there, Junkyard Dog, George the Animal, Steel, all these great wrestlers. Well, there's another wrestler, and I think he came a little bit after when we were involved with watching all that, and his name is John Cena. Well, usually we don't do famous people for Wingman because we want to show that everybody can be a wingman. Everybody can watch somebody's back. But this guy's something special, man. This guy he won a Guinness World Book of Records for Make-A-Wish Foundation, Dr. Paul. He's granted 600 wishes, over 650 wishes to children. The highest one of all of them, I think, were in 200s. He's done 650 foundation wishes for Make-A-Wish. And do you want to know the greatest thing about that? He is the most requested person by children who are ill. And I'm going to tell you something, a little secret, Dr. Paul. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed, but I truly believe I got bonus blessed by helping kids during my life. John Cena, what do you think, Doc?
That's great. That's great. I didn't know that he was that popular, but I guess he is. It's funny. I heard a thing recently saying that a lot of actors want to be fighters and a lot of fighters want to be actors. And you can see where people have transitioned from the wrestling world into the acting world. The Rock is at the top, and he's up there too. It's hard to do.
Rock is way up there, huh?
A guy called Dave Bautista. I've seen him in a number of movies.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do better. Some of the people, some UFC people I've seen say that they like acting too because it's better than getting hit in the face.
No doubt about it.
But that's great that he's doing things for kids. And I read more about him and saying that he does these things. Just call him and he'll go. There was a story of him recently getting together with a disabled young man and his mother who were fleeing the Ukraine. And I think he's nonverbal. He's a teenager. Got him out of the Ukraine, got him into some other part of Europe. Put something online, and John Cena heard about it, and he flew to where this young man was just to be with him. And they sat around, they ate cake, and just talked.
That means a lot to a child. Children, we were all children. Something that really trips me out, Dr. Paul, is that we don't take care of the young and the old, and we all used to be young. And God bless, with hard work and doing the right thing, we'll all be old. And those are the people we need to take care of. Dr. Paul, I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, and I enjoyed speaking with you once again.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.